Welcome to Holy Golden Doodles channel. Meet our associates, their ranking in our pack, their status as our house dogs, and most importantly, our family members. Follow us as our 8-week-old puppies grow up to hopefully become healthy moms of healthy puppies for qualified owners. Health testing, milestones, things they learn, cuteness they share, all included here. Please consider clicking like, share, or subscribe to our channel. Feel free to comment. It's in fact encouraged. You guys ready to go get some of that potty and out of the way? Yay! Let's go potty. Hello. Stay Paris. Well, hello everybody. I think this is take 3 or 4 today. I've been trying to get a video out, and I have a house guest, and I've worked quite a bit. We've had a little bit of snowstorms, so I apologize, but I'm trying to get things together here. So the video is supposed to be about today, and I hope I'm not all over the place, but it's about keeping your dog's paws clean in horrible winter weather or in muddy winter weather. There I am going out on one of my trips, but I just was wanting to show everybody that's just nothing but sleet, and it had just started. But what we have to do is we have to let Paris and Bougie go out separately because, like, see how Bougie's looking there in that video? She had mud on her. Paris wrestles with her, and she runs, and she gets mud and water all over her belly, and then she has to come in and get rinsed off in the shower when she gets that bad. Now, Paris doesn't get as bad as Bougie because Paris is not as, submissive as Boo. So Paris kind of is the one that's wrestling Bougie, but Bougie will go back at her, and they'll play and play and play, but Paris just is bigger, and she doesn't seem to get so much muddy water on her feet and legs. Roxy doesn't like to get her feet wet. That's her watching television. So she'll try to tippy-toe around there, and if anybody tries to wrestle her, she'll show them every tooth in her head, and they kind of figure out that she's not down with that, so to speak. So one thing I wanted to mention before I get into this paw thing is to make sure your dog is not outside too long. They can get hypothermia pretty easily if it's very cold, and you don't want them to stay out there too long, because if you're like us, our weather goes from 60 degrees to 20 below zero, like in one day's notice. And house dogs, I don't believe, tend to have a winter coat like a dog does that's outside all the time. They're just not resistant to that cold. So if your dog does get cold, put it in a very lightly warm bath and then gradually warm it up. So, you can maybe break the effects of it. That doesn't help. Get them to the vet. But whenever Bougie gets too much mud, she's pulling Paris off of my bed. Watch her pull. She does that when Paris jumps up on me, too. She just always got to keep Paris in line. But anyway, when their feet are cold or you rinse their feet off, put warm water on their feet if you can, and keep all that mud and stuff out of their toenails, and just rinse them out real good, and take your fingers and rough them around. But they can get frostbite in their feet too. So just, that's just a little pro tip right there. Don't forget about that. And I'm told that small dogs can get hypothermia quicker. They get cold quicker. And so if they roll up in the ball and lay down and don't want to get up and come in the house on their own, go get them. Because if they're shaking real hard or anything like that, get them in the house and get them warmed up. You might want to put a coat on them, some kind of doggy coat, which I'm sure most of you do. But on the feet part, that's my focus today, if my ADHD will allow me. Whenever I let my dogs go out to potty, I have a grass patch on the back deck that they use if they do not, if it's just too muddy out in the yard. I mean, we have moles out there. They dig trenches, and in the winter, the water seems to just stand there. And if they step in one of them, they'll sink all the way up to almost all the way up to the top of their body in the mud. And doodle hair, if you've got a doodle, you know what that's like with mud in it. You just pretty much got to redo a bath. Oh, I'm just looking in Bougie's ears right there to make sure I don't see any redness from ear infection while I'm brushing her for her morning brushing. I brush them all, every morning, most mornings. But there she is. We've had to rinse all that mud off her belly and her feet. And so you can, some things that help you keep the mud off the floor. Lay some washable pee pads or some disposable pee pads down at the door that you're going to let them in. And stop them, head them off at the pass. Take a towel and wipe their feet off if they're not that bad. If they are, get a great big, they sell these things on Amazon that's like $11, $12. That's got little scrubby things inside of them. Looks like a big, huge drinking glass that you can put their feet in, swish their feet around, and it kind of cleans their paws off. You can do that. Or you can do like me and get a 1-gallon bucket and just put their feet in some really soapy Dawn dish liquid and vinegar water, more water than Dawn and vinegar. And, swish their paws around in there real good. And then get them out and dry them off. Get that mud off of there. Hold on a second. So, I'm back. I had a little bit of I thought I was going to sneeze there, and I had to pause you guys. So, there's a swishing their feet around situation. There's don't let them outside if it's muddy, and put them on the porch if you got a way to hem them up on the porch. Or exclusively let them use pee pads, or these kind that are encased in a little mechanism, like a little tray that's got a top on it that won't sink down into the pee, so they don't get their feet all messy. And just don't let them out at all if you can help it. But with my situation, my doodles have to have exercise, and I would prefer they have it on the porches or out in the yard, because puppies this young, just 14 months old or so, they cannot not wear their energy off, or they start to get into things. They'll start to, mess around. Now, lately, Bougie's favorite thing to do is look for my remotes and chew them up. I actually ran 2 orders 2 weeks in a row for remotes from Amazon because Boo found my remotes and I forgot to put them up. That little part of the video there was a work break. I get 3 breaks a morning when I'm driving, and I stop and sometimes run in somewhere and just take a little bit of footage. There's Paris with her feet clean. There's me with clean feet. I definitely don't come in with muddy feet. And there's Boo. See, they're all looking good there. Their feet's clean. They've had their hair brushed. And I generally always try to keep them clean like that. There's the next day after the last sleet storm. That's all sleet, by the way. I'm just showing the sleet and the very slow 15-mile-an-hour speed limit with basically nobody out except me, but I have all-wheel drive. I was just going to say, if you're new to my channel, I bought these 2 girls, the younger Golden Doodle girls, the cream and the black one, to have for house dogs. I usually have 3, and my English bulldogs had passed away. So I got them, and I plan on raising Golden Doodles from those 2. Now, they're going to be always my house dogs, no matter if they have puppies or not. They're not going to be having too many litters. They're health tested, they're breed tested, and they're going to be OFA tested when they're old enough. I mean, I've said that many times on my channel, just letting you know that's what this thing's about. And you just get to watch what they do and watch the condition that they're in, how well they're cared for. I feed them Hills Science diet food for anybody that wonders about that. And they are vet checked. They see the vet very, very often. And they're so far so good on their health. And the male that we use will be equally as healthy. And I don't know yet if we're going to own a male, but I definitely think we've got one in mind that will artificially inseminate, more than likely. That's very healthy, and is an awesome dog to add for a dad to these puppies that I hope to raise, because we want smart, we want good temperament, we want health, and we want golden doodles, and we want non-shedding or low shedding. My girls are low shedding. If you go back and watch my old videos, you'll find out all of this. It's easy for me to get off track here, but here you see them playing. I think that's been in the last few days. They played, and they always get Bougie down. She don't feel sorry for her, because as soon as they let her up, she goes after them and keeps it going. You see, Roxy's just being careful about where she steps. And her feet will look wet, but I rarely ever see one bit of mud on her feet, because she just is old enough she doesn't want to be muddy, and she'll try to stay on the sidewalks, or she'll stay where the ground's frozen. And Paris doesn't get as much muddy feet, because Paris is, I think, in the pack order, Paris is second behind Roxy, so she wallers Bougie around more. So, but anyway, so that's another tip. It's not hard to rinse them off in the shower if you've got a handheld shower. If you need to soap their feet up, go ahead and make some soapy water in a little bucket or something and bring it in the shower with you, or put the soap on their feet yourself. I just find it easier to have soapy water made up. But there's where they pooped, on the deck. I've got a poop shovel out there. If that happens, and it's not a problem, I will just mop the spot with with vinegar water and Dawn, real soapy Dawn, and then in the spring I pressure wash the whole deck off. And they do have a grass patch, but they got out there playing with it and chewed up the pad that was under it, so I just put everything back together and just let them do whatever. There's the water mounting off the roof, so it's not going to be many days until they'll not be able to go out in the yard again, because it's going to be so muddy. They have a groomer's appointment coming up the 23rd of February, but I don't think they're going to make it that long, because their hair's already super long and super thick, and I've been having to pay very close attention to Bougie's ears, because she had a couple little mats to get behind her ears, both sides. And I got them out, Casey, if you're watching. Their groomer watches us sometimes, I think, and she's awesome, though. She does such a great job. Perfect job. But, that's another thing I'd like to say here. Please brush your doodles every day if you have one. Keep them mat-free. Brush and comb their hair so that people don't dread to see them come when you take them to the groomer, and that they're healthy and they feel good. You wouldn't feel good if your hair was all in a mess and wadded up and pulling and painful. There's Bougie's feet. That was when she went out in the ice playing, when you just saw. Part of that's her feet are wet, but part of it's also mud. There's Paris's feet, same thing. And look, she's just got a little bit of wetness, but not mud. So this here, I think's where you'll see me put her in there and rinse her feet. I've gone through this video so many times today trying to voice over it that I'm not really sure. But I think this is where I put her in there, and I turned the shower wand on her feet, and rinsed her feet off, and it was fine. She didn't have a bit of mud when I got done. My shirt says dogs instead of people, I think it is, or something like that. Dogs over people. I prefer dogs over people, something on that order, because it's true. But there I am, working, getting her feet. Pet Dad's not home, so he wasn't able to video for me. I just propped up the camera the best I could. I'm sorry I couldn't get a close-up of what that looked like. But I tried my best to show you how I rinse their feet. And like I said, if I need to soap them up, even on their belly, I will. I'll just kind of do maintenance. But you can't let them get super muddy and bathe them every day. And these dogs would have to have a full, whole bath if I let them out in my yard and let them get that muddy, because it's bad, and their skin would not handle all that soap. So this is for both them and me. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but I'm telling you, I put in a lot of work on my girls because they're worth it to me. They're like my family. Well, they are my family. They're like my children. I raised my children, and I still got a lot of love, so I love them. And anything they could possibly need, I try to get it. We try to get it. And we take them with us when we go places when we can. Now the girls get car sick easy, so they're on medicine for that when they go to the groomer. But they don't ride well in the car still, so we're trying to deal with that, or we take them out more, and we're hoping they'll grow out of it. Paris almost has grown out of it. Anyway, there's Boo getting her feet rinsed. That's a very small space, so hopefully Pet Dad can put me in a groomer tub, a dog washing tub. I didn't ever decide exactly where I would want it because I've got plenty of space, but I don't know if I want to give up a corner of my soap room and put that in there. I don't know what to do, but boy, it would sure help if I had a actual professional dog tub with a wand and the soap built in and everything, because Pet Dad's just awesome at building anything I need. Now you can see there Bougie's chin, there's her feet clean. Her chin's wet and she looks like she's muddy, but that's just the way her hair is. When it's wet, it kind of looks red. It's not mud, but it looks like it. Now if you use a white towel or a light colored towel to wipe their feet, you'll be able to tell if you got all the mud off. And if you do happen to leave a little behind and the dust shows in the floor, and you have a Roomba or two, that Roomba will clean that right up. Now see, there she is. Her feet's clean. She was all taken care of. So you can get these rugs that have real long yarn. They're feet wiping rugs for dogs. I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen them on Facebook, but I don't recommend anybody order anything off Facebook because it's been my experience that some of the companies you order from, they seem to forget after they get paid where to send the merchandise to, and then, or you get it and it's the size of a postage stamp when it was supposed to be 10 foot by 10 foot or something like that, so just be aware when you're ordering. Now Bougie got out of the shower before I got her feet dry in the shower, so there I am trying to mop up all the water with my spin mop. I keep mop water made. My spin mop came off when I did that, and I had to put it back on. I've got several mop heads that I use for different things, and this mop head is used to wipe up dog pee prints. I got them for all kinds of things, and I can throw them in the washing machine and wash them and let them air dry, and I've got a new mop. There's those pads that I put in the hallway to keep their muddy feet from getting it in on the rest of the house. And there's that grate thing that they can stand on and pee down in or poop on top of, and it does not let the pee get on their feet. They can't get to the pads to rip them up, which is something new they're starting to do. I don't know why they're doing that all of a sudden, but they are. And it may be because we have company. I don't know. They just get to acting up. Anyway, but there's how you can do. You can take that top grate outside, shake it off if it's got poop on it, or you can rinse it off with a hose or whatever you want to do. Pick it up with a paper towel. I left a little on there because the puppies still are not real sure about using that thing because they've always had grass to go on. And so if you leave a little bit of the scent, they'll use it, but they can't walk in it because it's kind of stuck down in those holes. So don't freak out because I didn't get the grate clean, because I will as soon as they figure out that's what they're supposed to do all the time. They have used it. Roxy loves it. But they've used it, but there's a little bit of that I had to leave just so they would know that that's what they're supposed to do. And Paris is nosing into my dresser. Paris, no. I've got a few extra things. I've been trying to redo my bedroom. That's why it's so junky looking. Anyway, there I am changing the pad. Then I take it outside, and I've got a metal trash can on that porch and also one on the big deck that we keep the pee pads in. And when it's trash day, I just pull that bag up out of there, and right there beside of it is the rolling trash barrel, and I put it in that and take it to the road. That's how we do. So those rugs with the long yarn that's to wipe dogs' paws, you can look those up on Amazon. You can use a gallon bucket with soapy water and a dry towel. You can put dog shoes on them. I know they sell those at PetSmart, but I would recommend taking your dog over there and fitting them to make sure that they'll stay on them. I tried those on my English Bulldog, and it was definitely a fail. And those things were like $50 for 4. I think now they're cheaper, and I think now they make them where they can kind of tighten up better. But I don't know if my dogs would even use them because they've never used them before, and it's kind of hard to train them to do something they've never done, and it's really not worth it to me. I'd rather just do what I do. But if you'd like to try those doggy shoes, maybe you want to try that out. Some people want to know if you should cut the hair out of the dog's feet pads or not. I like to have my dog's feet trimmed if I do it, if I groom them. But I don't think the groomer really shaves them out. She just keeps them close. Either way's fine. Just if they get ice balls in their feet, because their body heat melts that snow and ice, and then it'll get in their hair and it'll hang up in there, and that can really cause them to be in pain. When they come in, they're going to have water spots everywhere. So just if that happens, put their feet down in some warm water or rinse them off in the shower and get those ice balls melted out of there for them so they're not so miserable. So there you have it, a video about dirty, muddy feet, hypothermia, different ways you can keep that mud under control for your winter time. And at the end is my mantra for my dogs and my family and my friends. Love never fails. Hope you enjoyed the video. Keep watching. If you haven't shared or subscribed or clicked like or commented, please do so. Be kind. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, and be blessed. Bye.